People often ask me why I started my business, Cascade Leadership. It started with calling that began in December 2007 on a trip to India, my very first trip to India. I was asked by the CEO of Microsoft India to deliver a leadership development program. At that point in time, I was the head of global leadership development for the sales, marketing, and services group within Microsoft, about half the company. While I was there to deliver the leadership program, he also invited me to take a tour of the ISKCON temple. When I arrived at the temple, I was amazed. It was 5 times the size of any cathedral I had seen in Europe. And the interior was so different. There weren't the standard kind of gold and silver and icons that you would normally see in a cathedral. It was minimalistic, quiet, simple. And then I meet the Hindu priest, and he begins to take me on a tour. And you'll probably be surprised by what stood out to me the most. It was the kitchen. The kitchen equipment was 10 times the size of anything I had seen in my own university kitchen. I actually worked at my university kitchen to pay for my board contract. I thought I'd seen really large kitchen equipment. So I turned to the Hindu priest and I asked him, what do you do with all of this kitchen equipment? And he said, we make 1 million lunches a day that we send to the outlying area, to the schools, so that the children have something to eat and they also get educated. Because he said, these are children who their parents send them to school to get that meal, because that is the only meal they'll have for the day. That alone blew my mind. I was so stunned, I didn't even know what to say. I just blurted out, you must be so proud of what you do. And the Hindu priest looked at me genuinely confused and said, why would I be proud? It's what God called me to do. And in that moment, my life changed. I started to cry. My body started to tremble. And one of the things that I've learned from my past is that when that happens, a truth has been revealed and I need to pay attention. The Hindu priest was very gracious with me, continued the tour, but I went home 2 days later and shared the story with my husband, who said, what do you think it actually means? And I said, I don't know. But from what I've learned in the past, I'm going to stick with it. I stuck with the question of what does it mean? Not for 2 days or 2 weeks or even 2 months. It took me nearly 2 years to figure it out. And then one day in my own home kitchen in Fairfax, Virginia, I had the aha moment and insight. What would I do for absolutely no recognition? What was God calling me to do? And I knew that I wanted, in some way, shape, or form, to help eradicate poverty, largely through education for children in impoverished situations. I grew up as somebody from the lowest socioeconomic bracket of the United States. I know how education has transformed my life. I wanted to be able to give back. At first, I tried through Microsoft. I looked for ways that I could partner with NGOs in places like Africa and Latin America to do work with them. I then also volunteered with Bankers Without Borders through Grameen Foundation, but it wasn't sufficient. It just wasn't enough. I knew that I wanted to donate at least 20% of my time per year to initiatives that focused on eradicating poverty. So eventually, it called me to leave Microsoft. I left in a way where Microsoft is still a valued partner of mine. I work with them to this day. It's been now over 14 years. And I also donate my time to organizations like Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos, Children International, Trinity Foundation. There are so many ways that you can live your calling. And for me, it's become incredibly important to focus on that and enable others to find those callings of theirs. I don't know that you always have to leave and start your own business to do so. I think many of us can do it within our organizations where we stand. And it's really important to tap into that in order to be the leaders that we are most needed to be at our best, to engage others to perform at their best. So I encourage you to find that moment of reflection for yourself and ask yourself, what have I been called to do?